Trump's address on Iran last night, pledging to send the jihadist regime running Iran back to the Stone Age where they belong, while maintaining that the war should wrap up here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. The president sharing this video earlier today showing the aftermath of a strike on the tallest bridge in the Middle East. You can see the dark smoke there against the mountain. Trump writing, the biggest bridge in Iran comes tumbling down, never to be used again. Much more to follow. And it's time for Iran to make a deal before it's too late, and there is nothing left of what still could become a great country. With that, we have Rick Grenell, the president's envoy for special missions, and it's good to have you back on, Rick. Let's start right there. What did you make of the speech last night? What do you think we're doing here for the next 2 to 3 weeks to end this thing?
Well, first of all, isn't it refreshing to have a president that actually can mix strength with diplomacy? And that's exactly what we're seeing from President Trump. Look, we've been in this cycle for 20 plus years with Iran, where presidents do a little bit and then Iran misreads it or let's be honest, dupes past presidents.
Right.
And then we go right back to terrorism and killings of Americans. This has been a 20-plus year problem since I've been in politics. I was at the UN for 8 years. We were talking about the exact same cycle with Iran. President Trump comes in, tries diplomacy, pushes them hard to say, let's do a serious moment where you give up your nuclear weapons and you stop threatening and you stop doing terrorism. They don't want to do that. So the president of the United States, Donald Trump, is fixing the problem. And I love the fact that he's doing this in a very short period of time. He says, look, we've got to fix this problem. It's not going to be great in the short term, but it needs to be fixed, and it will be good for us in the long term. Not only to stop the national security threats against America, but gas prices, our allies in the region. All of these reasons are why the president decides to fix the problem, not kick the can down the road.
You got to give him points for that. You know, he's taken a lot of grief on this thing. I think they knew this wasn't going to be popular because everybody knows how Trump has talked about Middle East war. I mean, he made a name for himself by just destroying the Bush dynasty due to war. So they knew this wasn't going to be popular, but they also knew it's like, I mean, at some point, this decision to delay dealing with this issue was going to bite us right on the butt. And they knew that. And that moment was coming. And when it did come, everybody would then retrospectively look back and say, well, why didn't we do something? They were building this arsenal. We knew they were building all these ballistics. They were able to get ballistics all the way into Europe. They were trying to protect this, you know, burgeoning nuclear program that they were creating. Why didn't we do something about it before it was too late? That's how it would have gone. Now, I don't know if it would have been as soon as he says, but at some point in the future, this would have happened. You got to give him points for doing the right thing, because the reason nobody else did it is exactly this. Because look at his approval rating right now. People don't like this war. Nobody wanted to deal with this problem. Doing the right thing comes at a cost.
Well, look, I think there's no question that people don't like war. Every single president before Donald Trump has been unwilling to fix the problem. You look at the border, you look at Iran, you look at Venezuela. This is a president who goes in and fixes the problem. He doesn't just sit around and complain or do a little bit. He's not a seat warmer president. He is somebody who gets in there and fixes problems. Let me tell you one thing that I know about Donald Trump. I know Donald Trump is very serious about diplomacy. He tries it, but it's not an endless diplomatic cycle. There is an end to it. You don't move, and then he does, and he fixes the problem. Thank God we have a president who's willing to do strong diplomacy and military action when necessary.
I want to get to 2 more things with you, and I only have a minute to do it. Real quick on NATO, the president is very upset with NATO. Mark Rutte's coming next week. He's going to stay in, right? He's just making some noise, is what I imagine how this will go.
Well, look, we've been saying since the first term that NATO is a real problem, because we have members of NATO, the alliance, that do not pull their fair share. They expect the United States taxpayer to do all the work to pay for it, and they don't want to help. And we have seen this with the Iran war. I think it needs a drastic reform. President Trump is right to say, look, it's not working for us right now.
Yeah, well said. And then I thought this was maybe the most interesting headline to come out of this today was 2 gay Iranian men seeking asylum in the U.S. over fear they could be executed in Iran are facing an uncertain future. We have a lot of people on the left that are frankly rooting for Iran in this country. And these are the same people that are fully aligned with the LGBTQ agenda. And at the same time, you have two gay men that can't even go back to Iran because they'll be killed. Isn't it so interesting to see how the left is just a constant hypocrisy?
It's totally true. And let me just tell you something else that the left hasn't done in the last 6 years, which is help us get out gays and lesbians in Iran who want to get out and want to go somewhere. They don't come to the United States, but there are plenty of other places that will take them. There's an underground system. The left has never helped us with that. We have been able to do that in a quiet, concerted way. We will continue to do that to provide safety. But the left's hypocrisy has been so real to me for so many years, specifically on this issue. It's not getting better.
It's boundless. It is just another of so many examples that we see. Rick, good to see you. Thanks so much.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmidt tonight on Newsmax.